Welcome to gate 63, before completion. As we get to the end, my tracks are getting a little longer than usual, partially because I enjoyed it, and partially also because of my own need of rounding up this journey. How funny also that it is here at the end where we find all these mental gates, you know, the 61, you know, at the end of mutation, the 62 at the end of the form principle, the quarter of civilization, the 63 and the 64 that are a polarity to each other before and after conclusion. Let me start with this logical fuel gate. The subtitle of it says that in the spiral of life, all ends are a beginning. What a subtitle. You know, for me, both gate 63 and 64 are like one of those rotating gates where, you know, you may turn, but you always, you know, come up the same places because there is no other way to go. You can turn as many times as you like, but, you know, it's only one way that you move into life, into where things happen, and to the other, and you just go into outer space. After all, this is the head center. This is where, you know, only imagination seems at least, and I know because I am the cross of consciousness that carries those two gates as one of its axes, only imagination seems to have no limits. You know? I mean, I assume that even imagination has some, but nevertheless, if you are imaginative, how easy it is to think that, you know, you can ignore limits, that you can find shortcuts to them, you know, not accept them, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this gate 63, it's the gate of doubt, and it's the gate of suspicion. And in the not self, you know, it's mostly, you know, our suspicion about others, you know, whether what they say is true, whether, you know, whether to believe them or not. This is a gate that, being logical, it is not there to believe. It's waiting there to, you know, it doubts the moment whatever you say does not match what it sees. The doubt jumps, you know. It's not like you make it up. It just happens. It just happens because it is this mental pressure to focus on logic. In an open head, you know, as a not self-expression, it can bring just about this deep, deep anxiety about missing something, not seeing everything, you know, not getting everything. It can be deeply, deeply uncomfortable, I guess, because I know how uncomfortable it can be, even being defined. You know, this pressure for an answer that depends on someone else's answer. It's not my case, you know. My problem was always that I could never stop questioning my own answers and realizing that they were all just relative, as the subtitle of the gate says, in the spiral of life. Every end is a beginning, because there is no conclusion to life. This is a gate of mind. This is a gate of initiation. And as a gate of initiation, it is there to expand our mental horizon, to inspire the potential for logic. And in the potential for logic, I only mean to inspire our ability to recognize patterns, to recognize things that repeat, things that keep happening, the people with whom they repeat, the way they keep happening, the way they happen to others as well, and such. But the way I adore to look at gate 63, because probably it was one of my greatest discoveries of what it means, you know, to be an emotional being and embrace the fact that there is no truth in the now is that when you look at gate 63 in the mandala, you can see that it is completely surrounded by nothing but emotional gates, a bunch of them before it and another bunch of them after it. You know, this is this spark in human intelligence to realize, you know, that I'm feeling all this stuff. What to do? Shall I do something with it? And because it's looking towards the future, you know, and you can see the subsequent gates in the mandala are 22 and 36 manifestor gates. Impact. What impact will it have on my future if I express everything that I'm feeling right now as if it was my truth? This is the gate of recognizing that feeling does not justify everything. That to use feelings to justify this or that action can be so foolish. That feelings can be, you know, have a more blinding force than anything that comes from the outside. And if you do not know how to let your feelings relax before you do whatever needs to be done, well, you may unknowingly turn into your own worst enemy. What to do? So gate 63 for me is the first spark of recognition that, well, emotions have no truth in the now. And only time, we don't know how much time, you know, only time can bring the clarity as to what action may be necessary if